Good morning, my friends. Welcome back. It is the first Friday of the month. Can you guess what that means? Perhaps not if you're new to my channel, but if you're a regular here, you'll know it means it's time for the monthly Masterboard challenge. And this is one of my favourite Masterboard projects to do, but which I haven't done very often. So why? I don't know. I guess there's just too many things to do. And even if it's your favourite, sometimes you just don't get to do it very often. So for this Masterboard for June, you're going to need a base of some description. I'm using a book page. It's a book I got recently. I didn't look at the title properly. I just flicked through it, saw whole heaps. Every page is black and white, beautiful graphic images. But it wasn't until I got it home that I realised it's entirely a book about conflict, so mostly wars. So the subject matter, not fantastic. There are still some parts I can use, for sure, but a lot of it I can't. Like, I'm not going to put war scenes or, important figures in history that weren't so nice, if you get my meaning, in any of my journals. So, beautiful matte, quite thick paper. So I'm going to use it as a collage base, and I will back the other side with writing paper. You will need scraps. I prefer to do this project with neutral scraps, but use whatever you like. I do recommend neutral. One, because you've probably got scraps like I've got scraps. Two, because it provides a really lovely base to then work from. Okay, so I've got just a bunch of random scraps here. Everything from digitals to, that's a bit of scrapbook paper, coffee dyed notebook paper or diary paper, packing paper, grid paper, the works, all sorts. Map paper, not the map part itself, but the plain sides. I think I'll switch this around just so it's a little bit easier to kind of navigate on my desk. Do I want squarish? I think for this I might go kind of straight edged. You don't have to do straight edged, it's not important for this Masterboard. You can tear it and do it all funky shapes and fun edges, or you can go straight. I think today I'm just in a bit more of a straight mood, whatever that means. I have no idea what that means. Just in a mood to do sort of straight pieces, I guess. So I'm just gonna, the dates on these will be nice to use on these book pages. I can cut out the numbers and use those, but that's not very much from a page. So why not just use it as a collage base? And it's quite a large book, quite a thick book. Right, I don't want huge areas of any sort of one sort of paper. I want to keep it fairly smallish to get a nice variety in there. So hopefully you were able to grab out some stuff, or maybe pop the video on pause and go grab some supplies out and collage along with me. And this is just the first stage of this Masterboard. This is going to be a collage base, and then we're going to do some stamping. So if you haven't yet put the camera on pause and you'd like to craft along, maybe grab out some stamps at the same time. You'll need some background texture type stamps and some focal image stamps, and I'm using botanicals for my focal pieces. Oh, that edge is not straight, so I'll just hang it over the edge and trim it up later. It will be fine. So I've got some magazine paper here, just a lovely neutral beigey colour. So anything goes really, any scraps that you've got floating around your desk or in your scrap bin, wherever you keep your scraps. If you don't have scraps, are you really a junk journaler? But if you honestly don't have scraps, maybe because you recently did a project or something, gave them away, sent out a happy mail, I don't know, then just use, you know, scrapbook paper or digitals or whatever you like to collage up, or grab out a magazine that has some lovely blank pieces like this advertisement from here. Lots of lovely plain usable areas in that. There's always options. And if you don't want to do the collage, you know, if you really just don't like collage or can't be bothered or don't have time, just got a wee mucky glue, which at the end of the day won't actually matter, but that will be hidden under stamping, so not the huge issue, but it does mean time to change out my glue page. As I was saying, so if you absolutely just don't have time to collage or can't be bothered, grab out a sheet of coffee dyed paper or a scrapbook page that's a neutral base and then stamp on that. Perfectly fine to do that. Right, this bit of coffee dyed. I keep burying my ruler, which isn't very helpful. So I hope you've had a wonderful week, my friends. My week has been very, very busy. Is it going to fit there? Not quite. Maybe we'll just pop it in there. Yeah, very busy week. I'm still working to get everything done I need to. This is my last day at home for the week. This is Wednesday today as I'm recording, so I've got, this is the first of 3 videos I still need to record, and then I was wanting to get one more video done as well. I honestly don't think it's all going to happen. I think the 3 videos that I have to do is probably going to take all my time today, but we'll see how we go. Just depends. And I've also got some computer work that I need to get done as well, and that is a priority too. So yeah, we'll just see how the day goes, how much I get done. If there are any gaps in videos, my apologies. It means I didn't quite make it. So yeah, bit of a stretch. The one that I'm kind of wondering whether I will actually get done or not is the Margaret Miller collage one for Saturday. I want to get it done because I'm already behind and I don't want to get further behind, but if it can't happen, if I run out of time, well, so be it. I will just catch up at some point. You know, I can only do as much as I can get done. That's just the way of it for any of us. We can't do what we can't do. And I've got to give myself a bit of a break sometimes and just go, you know what, the world's not going to fall apart. My world anyway. As much as I feel like it might, it won't if I skip a video or if I'm late with a video. It simply will be okay. I am not that important. Right. Just got a bit of paper goober there. Don't know what that came off of. Now it doesn't want to come off my finger. There we go. Now we'll just throw all of that in the bin. Get rid of the offensive bit of paper. Maybe it came off the edge here that I straightened and it didn't tear perfectly well, so it's got a few little fragments on the side, which is fine. So how's your week going? Is your week crazy busy? Is it fair to middling? You know, just kind of chugging along like you would expect? Or has it thrown you some curveballs? I'd love to know where you're at, what you're doing, what you're crafting. What's your current crafting project? You're working on a journal, or like a specific journal, or you having some ephemera making time? I don't know. Let me know. Always keen to hear what you're up to, and even keener if you want to share pictures of what you're up to. You can always do that over in my Facebook group, Visual Vibes. Whether it's a project that I'm doing or have done, or just, you know, your whatever crafting you're doing is fine. This, I think, is a bit of either paper bag or painter's masking paper. I think it's probably paper bag. Feels a little too thick for masking paper. I'm ending up with things at the same height, and that's not pleasing me. I'm being way too persnickety about where I put bits and pieces, considering I've got limited time to do this on video. You've got all the time in the world, but on video I don't want to take any longer than an hour, preferably. Otherwise you all get bored and fall asleep on me. That's not a good look, is it? I need your company. Oops. Well, let's say I would like your company. That did not go well. Oh, gosh, I have trouble picking up stuff with my fingers now. The arthritis makes it difficult to feel things. And it's very annoying, but at least it doesn't stop me crafting. That would be like a nightmare if my hands got to the point where I couldn't craft. That would be very, very distressing. I'm creating some interesting shapes here. That's fine. I don't mind filling in gaps. I actually kind of like it. It's quite fun. And my scrap bag desperately needed attention and using up some scraps. So this is perfect for me with my bag of bits. That one didn't tear very well either, so resort to scissors where I need to. Just gluing off to the side. Sometimes I'm bringing it across and sometimes I just do it to the side. I do seem to keep closing myself in with bits and pieces around me. This is my laced coffee digital. It's available on Etsy. It's not quite wide enough for there. Let's pop it there. I'm not worried about overlapping bits. That overlapping I think is quite good. Just helps avoid straight lines, you know, lines from two pieces that just kind of follow, because I don't like when that happens. It gives too linear a look, I find. Gosh, my glue page already needs switching out. Right, what else have we got? A bit of paper bag. I have multiple different colours and weights of paper bag. Oh, well, that was a bit useless. What sort of tearing was that? That was not great tearing. Let's actually hold the ruler down a bit firmer. Still didn't tear that well, but I'll live with it. I'm just going to get rid of that curled up edge if I can. This paper does not want to tear straight even with a ruler. It's got a funky grain, but that's okay. We'll just pop it there. Right, change out my glue page again. Very sticky business, collaging. Is it any wonder that I so often resort to tacky glue? Because I just find it less messy. But that's okay. So this is very thin, this paper bag, so we can see some of the text and stuff behind, which is absolutely fine. Bit more of this. So I'm trying to record so many videos at the moment that I'm kind of running out of things to say that I haven't already said in a video, because there's not enough things in between times to then relate. I can't remember. There is one thing. I can't remember whether I told you guys. I don't think I did, but so forgive me if I have. I don't think I have, but if I have, close your ears for a minute. If you don't want to hear it again. Last week I got a message from hubby to say that he had ordered me a carton of paper, printer paper. So that's 5 reams, and a ream is 500 sheets. And he'd ordered me a carton which is 5 reams, so that's 2,500. I think I've got that right. Yeah, 2,500 sheets of paper. Isn't he the sweetest? Like, what a guy. How to make my heart sing. Just buy me paper and a whole heap of paper. Like, that's a lot of paper. That's going to keep me going for a while, because I've been, you may have seen my earlier videos where I talked about my beetroot and coffee dyeing, and I've been dyeing a lot. Basically every night I'm doing some. And he says to support my current endeavours with dyeing paper. So I'm not going to run out in a hurry. So at the moment I am doing coffee dyeing. My beetroot and coffee solution kind of got to the end of its life, so I binned that and thought, well, I've actually got way more beetroot and coffee dyed paper now than I do coffee dyed. So I thought I need to do some more coffee dyed paper, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. In fact, I did some this morning. Actually, I might use that more grungy side. So yeah, there's the pressure is off now, because I was worried that I was going to run out of paper and run out of paper for my printer. If I do so much coffee dyeing, it's like I'm going to use it up. I don't need to worry for a good long while now. It's going to keep me going for months. Theoretically, we shall see. You know, sometimes it's a case of you get plenty and then you use even more because you're not precious with it or sparing, and then you run out still. But I don't think I'm going to run out in any sort of great hurry. Not with that amount of paper at my disposal. So super sweet, super kind. And then last night, I definitely haven't told you this. Last night I was sitting there and I went to check my phone, and it's like, oh, I've got a text message. And so I went into the texts, and keep in mind that hubby and I were sitting, maybe 1.5 meters away from each other. So we were very close. And hubby had sent me a text asking if I would go out on a date with him on Friday, because he's got the day off and we are going out to the city and got some plans to do stuff. And he's like, do you want to go on a date with me? He's so cute. He is just the sweetest man. So sweet. I am very blessed with my man. He's very kind and thoughtful. And yesterday, one of my errands that I had to do, I talked about it in one of my videos. I had to do 2 errands. One of them was a local person who had moved into the area. I think he'd been here in my town a couple of years, I think. But when he moved, he had the big boxes with all the packing paper left over from the move. I just repeated myself, please excuse me. And he was finally kind of trying to get rid of it. And he posted it on the local group. And I saw it and I thought, oh, yeah, that's cool. I knew what sort of paper it would be. I will grab that and I can use it in my craft. And he says, oh, there's 4 big boxes of it. And I was like, yeah, I've got nowhere to put 4 big boxes. And he says, well, I'll take 1 box. Maybe the preschool or something would like it. And I knew it would be all crumpled and, you know, not pristine. But I thought maybe. Anyway, I rocked on around there yesterday because I'd arranged to go at 4:30 and pick it up from him. And he showed me 2 of the boxes. And I says, actually, since we talked on Messenger to arrange it, I had thought about it and thought, we are currently searching for paper, for newspaper to light our fire with. What could be more perfect than pre-crumpled butcher paper for lighting the fire? So I says, I'll take it all. So 2 of the boxes, there actually only turned out to be 3 boxes, not 4. So 2 of the boxes are still in my car until we need them. And there's 1 box in our lounge room and it's big. So it's, you know, not the best thing to have in our lounge, but it's the most convenient place for lighting the fire. And Snuggles, it's because it's a tall box, Snuggles loves to sleep on top of it. So guess where she is right now? I bet you don't need more than one guess. So big box of paper and she's busy curled up and it's slightly bowed because hubby used some of the paper this morning, so it's nothing directly under the lid, so the lid's kind of bowed in and she's curled up in this, like this cradle, cardboard cradle, really. She is adorable. She's funny. Funny girl. She's got her ears back. I think she heard me say her name. She's like, is Mummy talking about me? What's she saying? All the stuff, Snuggles. I'm telling them all about the stuff. Well, that's a really cool, funky piece. I like the way it's torn. I don't want to mess with that. I want to use that for something else. This looks white, but it's creamy colour, and it's like from a book or something, an end paper, something like that. Probably don't want it that wide. Let's take it down a smidge if I can tear that. My fingers are all gluey. There we go. We got there, not too bad. Can I fit that there? I think I can. So I'll have to do a bit of trimming around the edges here and there. Right. Maybe I'll put a bit over there, cover that bit. Right, time for a new glue page. I really just want to go and wash my hands. I'm feeling very sticky and gross. But I am going to push on and just ignore it. Well, I'm going to tell you about it. Share my misery. Not that it's really misery, but you know, share my discomfort with you guys. Trying to look for some paper perhaps that we haven't used. Oh, here's a bit of, this is 1953 page, ledger page, if I remember correctly. Very, very hard for me to use. It's very precious, but I need to use it. So I'm being brave and just kind of trying to, even though I'm talking about it, block out how precious I feel it is. I'm acknowledging to you guys how precious I feel this paper is. But I'm also giving it an extended life than what it would have if it was left in its book that had been stored in a wool shed, a smelly wool shed with birds and mice, and so the page itself is fine, but a lot of the stuff in the box was a bit gross. We'll have to say that it was a bit gross. But there was plenty I could salvage, that's for sure. And it just feels so precious. And just put that there, I think. So we're filling up the gaps. If you didn't grab stamps out and you are crafting along, don't panic. You can pop it on pause again when we get to that stage. If you need to, or if you'd like to. I'll wait for you. I will, I promise. Right. This is a bit of drawing paper. Kind of want to tear it where that fold line is. Okay, we're almost there, people. Are you hanging in there? What's up for your weekend, guys? I don't know what's up for our weekend because we've got the plans for Friday, but we haven't thought past that. It'll probably be just a low-key day on Saturday again, just, you know, recouping energy, that sort of thing. That's what I'm picking it will be like. We'll see when we get there. Oh, I can smell the coffee on this bit of coffee dyed paper. Must be a relatively recent one. That. Oops. That's how I get sticky. Fumbling with gluey paper. Another bit of glue. Oops. Maybe the wet wipe is a little damp for the paper. It'll dry. It'll be fine. Right, so I've just got this section in here to do. Is that going to be... Yep, that's going to be big enough to fill some of that. This is painter's masking paper. It's a lot thinner. Right, change out my glue book. Glue page. little snippet there. Trim off the funny little pointy bit outside. So I think if I manage to spend half the time collaging and then the rest of the time stamping, the other half, I think that should be a kind of a good mix for this video. And we're about halfway point, so we're almost done. So I think we should be okay to get it all done. Right, I just need one small little strip piece. To get enough out of this, but I hope. Hopefully I made it long enough. Oh yeah, fine. I just didn't do a good job of tearing, so just cut off that wee leggy bit again once more, fixing up my bad tearing. Right, glue stick you are finished with. Glue pages finished with for today, or for this video anyway. Right, so we are all done with the collaging. Let me do a little tidy up here so I can go on to the next stage. Chuck it on hubby's chair beside me. I'm going to just give my fingers a wee clean because they are so sticky and gross. It's the best option rather than putting the camera on pause and getting up and actually washing them in the hand basin. Because it's like 7 minutes till lunchtime. I'm not going to be finished this video before it's my lunchtime, but that's okay. Right, so a little bit curly, of course, with the old glue stick. The rest isn't too bad. I can fuss with the trimming later. Now you will need something in behind. I'm just going to use this sheet and move it around as needed because we want to be able to stamp off the edge so that you haven't got like a border. We don't want a border, we just want to cover the whole thing in stamps. So I have my usual suspects of texture. So there's a wood grain, there's some text, there's this Hessian one from Kaisercraft, and some more text here. Sorry about the glare, I realise the cellophane's probably doing weird things under the lights. And then I've got some border stamps, just fun bits to play with, whatever you've got. Now when I do this type of masterboard, I typically do all neutral and I love it, and it suits any journal really. So normally I'd use coffee ink and sepia ink from Ranger Archival. Today I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to try something with this that I haven't done. I'm going to use colours. So just for the first layer is I'm going to go with a range of greens, blues and a yellow. Okay, so I've got Vivid Chartreuse, Cobalt, Manganese Blue, Paradise Teal, Chrome Yellow, and then this one, Lemon Lime Twist from Stampin' Up. I thought, what will it look like if I use colours in the background? So let's find out. I've also got splatters and things like that. Right, this one doesn't fit on any of my blocks. I really need to buy a bigger block, but one day. It's on the one day. I look at them and then think, oh, it's just so boring. But, you know, it'd be very, very, very handy. Right, so I'm just going to go over the edge so it, and this, I'm starting with yellow because it's going to be the least obvious colour. Sometimes I will use grey with the browns. Stamp every which way. And don't keep it all the same way. and be random. Kind of random, kind of considered. Like, you don't want everything in the same place. You want to mix it up here and there, and even diagonal. Like, you know, don't be afraid to go diagonal. Right, I am going to worry about cleaning my stamps after the video, so you don't have to worry about watching me do all that. Let's use some Hessian, and I'm just gonna plaster whatever. I think I'll use this lemon lime twist. So much easier if you have a piece of paper underneath that's big enough, so you don't have to keep moving things around. But I just grabbed what was close, so I'll make it work. So remember, this is just a first layer, this stamping. So you can do some darker bits and some lighter bits, some ghost stamping. That's the second stamping without re-inking. So you get a very pale print, depending how much ink's on it to begin with. Okay, that's that one. Let's try some Vivid Chartreuse now. Maybe I want to try one of these decorative borders. They can provide some really interesting texture. There's also a wood grain border in the set. So there's this one, but maybe this lacy one would be cute. Where's my long block? I do have a block for these. There we go. Oops, throw it around your desk. Why not? With gay abandon. Right. So this is a bit brighter, a bit bolder. So I'm working up in colour value really, which wasn't so much planned, it's just kind of how I ended up going. So diagonal. And you can use different colours on the same stamp, like you could just use one stamp and just change the colour on it, or you could use one colour and different stamps. Whatever you've got, whatever you like. And it's not perfect stamping, and that is perfectly fine. It does not matter. We don't need to aim for perfection. We're aiming for texture and interest. A bit of ghost stamping there. Okay, that's that one. Maybe we want to do, okay, I need to take that off if I'm going to do this little line of faux stitching. Just a little stamp. Doesn't even need to be straight. Colour. Might go with the teal. I just love this sort of process. It's just fun because you don't have to worry about much. You just go for it. Very forgiving process. Okay, and I think I might do some of that in which colour? Maybe the yellow. it's got some of the teal in there as well because I didn't clean off the stamp in between, which is fine. And I'm just doing some so that they cross over each other. Okay, yep. Right, next contestant is, what are we going to add next? I'm just randomly going with where the mood takes me. I might use something a little more, what's the word, smaller? Did that take me so long? Let's use this one, this flower. Here's smiley face. It's a wee grape scented sticker. I can't remember if this is the one that doesn't stamp very well, but doesn't matter for this process. Right, let's go with the blue. I'm thinking I'm not going to use the cobalt. I think it's a bit dark to be in the background. It's going to compete with our focal. Yeah, that's not stamping that wonderful, but it's texture. Also, the different weights and levels of paper underneath are going to affect that as well. Oops, don't spill that into my lap. So, see, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that it's not stamping properly. And as you fill up, you'll start to see gaps where you think, oh, I need something over there. So just build it up as you go and start to isolate those areas that need a little something in them. Okay, yep. I think that's looking good so far. I'm wondering about doing something else in the chartreuse. Maybe this wee label here. Overlap your stamps as well. It's a good way to make them all blend together. Do one here on a diagonal and another one here on a diagonal. Little ghost stamping. Well, there wasn't much ink left on that, but there's a little hint of it. And I think I'll throw in some yellow as well of this stamp. Right, up here needs a little something. Okay, right, time to examine. Do I want anything else? I think I'm good to go with that as a background. Okay, so the next step is some focal images. So we are going to stamp, so still stamping. I need to choose out what I would like. Botanical works really, really well for this. Maybe let's go some bugs. And for this, normally I would go a darker brown ink when I've done a very neutral background. Today I'm going to use black. Right, I really like this beetle, but maybe the dragonfly. We'll go start with the dragonfly. Now you do want these to be more, what's the word? Use your words. More carefully stamped, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So this one didn't turn out that great. It's okay, I can live with it, but basically I want them to be a nice stamp. Okay, it is important now at this stage to think about composition, because we are going to be using these in a different way to anything that we've done previously. So you need space around your focal images. Bear that in mind. Now, if you find you've got too much space, then when we go to use the Masterboard, you can always add in some other stamps to fill gaps. So on this layer, go more sparing rather than too much, because you can always add more. But if you find that you've crammed too much in, then you can't remove them. You would have to then cover them over with another bit of paper or something. So maybe I'll just go with the two stamps, the dragonfly and the butterfly maybe. That one didn't stamp very well, but we'll still make use. So I've got a gap over here. There's a gap in here, but I don't want to get too crowded. But we'll see how it works. And maybe one up in this corner. Okay, the trouble with this is the more you go, the more gaps you see, and the temptation is to fill them all. But we don't want to do that. I'm just going to grab the dragonfly back and do another dragonfly in this gap here, somewhere in there. Oh, keep getting ink on my block because I'm being a bit careless. Okay, there's still some gaps, but I'm going to stop there. Like I said, I can add more when we go to use this Masterboard next week. So stop before you think you're done, maybe, might be a tip. Leave some room. You need some maneuvering room around your images, whatever you like. And you could use botanicals, butterflies, birds, bees, you know, the usual suspects. You could stamp leaves. What else might you use? You could use, I did grab out these, like these little miniature bottles, ink bottles, something like that. Labels, you could do labels maybe. Labels are a little bit different because they kind of don't align really with what we're going to be doing with this masterboard. But anything's possible. Right, so that is my masterboard for the monthly masterboard challenge for June. I hope you enjoyed watching me bring this together. I hope you're inspired to give it a go, and come back next Friday where we will turn this into some things. And that's all I'm going to say right now. Some of you may guess, because I do believe I did this project ages and ages and ages ago, probably at least a year ago. So if you've watched that video, you might guess where we're going, but if not, come back next Friday and let's turn this into something fun. Okay guys, thanks for joining me. Have a brilliant weekend. Make it a really good one, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.